Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks with TalkToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about how poverty does not teach valuable lessons, nor does it make you noble. There's this underlying mentality that poverty is somehow virtuous, poverty is a good thing, it is teaching you lessons, and you're somehow more virtuous or noble than rich people because you're poor. And while that sounds good, and that is a way that in the past the elites, the higher ups, the worldly nobility has used to keep people from pursuing more, from being more, from living up to their God-given potential, in today's day and age, anyone can see how delusional that is. All you have to do is go to a poor neighborhood and you see people in this abject poverty doing self-destructive things. Not happy. There may be some rare exceptions, of course, but a lot of misery is there. A lot of sadness and suffering and failure and degradation. So many awful things are occurring in those type of areas because poverty is not good. It's not valuable. It's not teaching you great lessons. It's not making you more noble. Now, you could learn a lesson in poverty, but it's not because of the poverty itself. You could learn that same lesson while being very rich. And a matter of fact, you should learn all these lessons without having to have outside circumstances force upon you and bear down on you to get you to learn a lesson. If that's what's happening to you, that you only can learn lessons by life forcing bad, negative things upon you, then you're being too stubborn and willfully ignorant in the matter. Have a humble heart. Be willing to receive and willing to learn. Let the anointing you have received of Him abide in you and teach you all things. There are some great people who are poor, but those people would be even greater if they were rich, if they were doing the things they should be doing and knew to do and had an abundance and became successful. They're not helped and they're not bettered by being poor. If anything, that hinders them. Now you may say, well, I know this rich person and they're so evil and nasty. Yes, of course. And yet you can go into poor neighborhoods and there's tons of people who will rob you. They would shoot you. Who knows what they might do that's evil? That is issues with certain individuals, issues with humanity. And if those people who were doing those evil things, who had that evil heart, became rich, they would be nasty, evil, rich people. That's just who they are. Poverty or riches is not going to change that. The riches may magnify it because now they have more power, the power that comes through having wealth and success. But for even some of those people, because we see this in the music industry where there's people who grew up on the streets and sold drugs and did all kinds of evil things, and they became successful in music, and they stopped those things. So sometimes actually becoming rich can push aside those evil works and cause someone to live to a higher standard. There just is no benefit, no good thing you can point to from poverty, from disease, from suffering, from lack of education, from all these things that go along hand in hand with poverty. None of them are good. None of them are making you a better person. And just because you can point to someone who's poor and is otherwise living righteously, doesn't mean those same people with an abundance wouldn't be even better. Is it not good to be able to bless other people? Is it you living up to your fullest potential to only have enough for you and your family? To not have enough to share and to spread and cast your bread upon the water and see it return? To give and then have it given unto you? Just be this toxic swamp that takes in and never gives out? That's not good, and that's not righteous either. That's not helping you live to your fullest potential. People get bogged down in the terms of poverty and rich or whatever, and the amounts of money, like what defines as rich and what defines as poor. But we all know inherently someone who's poor is lacking good things. That doesn't mean Bentleys and Rolls Royces and the fanciest mansions or anything like that. They just don't have enough. They don't have an abundance. But why shouldn't you, as someone who knows God, someone who's a child of God, someone who's an imitator of God, someone who Jesus came that you, through his poverty, might be rich? Someone who knows God and knows his blessing, the blessing of the Lord that makes rich and he has no sorrow with it. Shouldn't you have an abundance? Not so you can consume it upon your own lust, not so you can just have an accumulation of things. We're not living like materialists, but we understand that there is a great blessing in achievement and accomplishment in living up to the best you can possibly live under the Lord. Knowing him and excelling in life because you do know him. Knowing that he will not withhold any good thing from those that love him. Knowing that he is always extending grace and mercy and blessing upon you. And why then wouldn't you have an abundance? Why wouldn't you have more than enough? And instead of being this person who's only caring about yourself, only caring about your family, turn outward to help other people. Not just hoard everything up for yourself. Not just close your bowels of compassion and not care about other people's needs. Not care about helping other people and being a blessing in life. You know, you only have one life. Why not live it to the fullest potential? Why not be the best you possibly can be? Have the most you possibly can have. Give the most you possibly can. Do the most you possibly can. Just be that person who is taking what God has given them, whatever it may be. This is not to compare to anyone else, but just doing to your fullest potential whatever you can do. And whatever you do, put your heart into it and do it unto the Lord. With a grateful heart, with a pure heart that's doing things for the right reason, that heart will be blessed. That heart will be rewarded both in this life and in the life to come. My friend, don't let people drag you down into the pit with them. Don't let people hold you down like the elites did in the past, where the royals and the nobility and all these people told the peasants that poverty was a virtue so they could keep them from ever rising up, ever becoming more, because they just wanted to hoard the money to themselves. All those things are from a scarcity mentality, whether it's the poor people or the rich people telling the poor people they got to be poor because it's somehow virtuous or God's will for them or whatever nonsense they were telling them. Because they are scarcity mindset as well, even though they had by birth or whatever some power and money, they were believing in scarcity. So if these poor people start getting more money, that's going to take away from me. That's not the way the world works. God's universe is abundant, my friend. There is more than enough for you to have more than enough, to share more than enough, and to be more than enough. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for poverty. Don't settle for lack. Don't settle for want. Become the best you possibly can be. Be a follower of God. Be an imitator of God as dear children, and walk in that newness of life. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.